In search of a coffee culture. A legend has it that Kaldi discovered coffee in the 9th century, when as one of the Ethiopian shepherds, Kaldi noticed how excited his goats became after eating the beans from a coffee plant. Another legend says the ancestors of today's Oromo people in the Kaffa region of Ethiopia were the first to recognize the energizing effect of the coffee plants. So it is written that long before the 15th century, some Africans used coffee plants as a stimulant and that coffee was first cultivated in Africa. And the coffee story continues with Meishai.
We have so many places, in Africa alone. You just heard today, somebody said in Nigeria alone, we have coffee from 22 different states, Although one of the things people don't really pay attention to is that there are different types of coffee. And generally speaking, the one most people, the most popular of all of them is Arabica coffee. Now, those tend to grow only in altitudes above 1,000 meters above sea level. Some will even tell you the best Arabica beans come from 3,000 meters above sea level and above.
That was Ibrahim, who is using his coffee business to rewrite the urban narrative that is spoken about his people, the Hausa people.
I'm Hausa by tribe, and obviously I've been in Lagos now about 10 years. And just generally speaking, I have not been very happy with the sort of narrative that the Hausa people have sort of been given in this town. There's a negative narrative on the culture. And I have this mission that I want to project everything that's positive, everything that's classy, everything that is beautiful about the brand. I do other businesses, but I think the choice of the name allows me to sort of, because you hear it, you are inquisitive about the origins, and you find out it's a Nigerian cultural thing. It's like saying Mesuya, So that's where the name originated from, and the desire to want to put a positive spin on a culture.
Rise, Nigeria.
Many nations have found a definition for their coffee culture, and Nigeria is on the road to finding her coffee culture.
My coffee culture is drink coffee, lose weight, and create wealth.
That was Phil Ebegbina, a coffee ambassador for a Brazilian brand. He will become very important as we go further, so watch out for him.
According to espresso addict Christian Pepe, who has drank coffee in many countries, Danish coffee culture favors it black and strong. In Sweden, black and strong coffee is made to pass through the filter before it is eventually downed with milk. Dutch coffee drinkers prefer a dark roast with lots of bitter, while Germans tend to favor milder roasts, more mocha flavor. Spanish and Italians like ristretto and espresso, although Italy has more varieties in coffee milk combos than Spanish. All South European countries identify an Americano as a large diluted coffee drink that's often softened further with milk, foam, syrup, or all of the above. And so the majority of Southern Europeans frown at Americano. Greek and Turkish people drink a type of coffee that already has sugar added. And if you're drinking Turkish, you better ask for no sugar, as Turk's coffee is terribly sweet by standards.
Without a light, I fear that I will stumble in the dark.
Oh well, Italians drink cappuccino early in the mornings and think you're ridiculous if you ask for one after lunch or dinner. In Thailand, they consider filtered espresso or mocha as luxury, and so they aren't about to pay for a cup.
The call for a Nigerian coffee culture has led to the first ever coffee festival, which held in Lagos as the giant of Africa, Nigeria, takes after Korea and China, two other nations who were not traditional coffee consumers but who have now been heavily initiated into the coffee culture and economies. But then, just what is a coffee culture?
I started drinking coffee because I thought it was cool when I was about 10. I would brew coffee in the morning and then go on a walk around the block and drink it. And I think I've had it every day since. 20 years later, I still love it. It's delicious.
Drink coffee, lose weight, and create wealth.
My coffee culture. Drinking coffee in the mornings with breakfast. Drinking coffee after lunch, especially when you're at work. Sharing coffee with friends and family.
You know, with anything to do with luxury, and the thing for us, coffee isn't a luxury business, but the method by which we are choosing to enter the market is from a little bit of a luxurious approach. The time it takes for baristas to brew you a cup of coffee is about 4 to 5 minutes. You can't brew for 5-6 people at the same time. So it's a long-term game for us. We care more about using the coffee as a platform to sort of upsell, network, and basically push other businesses. And it creates an amazing networking platform as well.
For me, the coffee journey I was sharing with someone earlier was a convergence of a few things. First, I had a roommate right after I finished university who loved coffee. She'd lived in Italy and, she drank coffee every morning. So before she left for work every day, she would, she had all the apparatus to make different types of coffee, the frother, everything. So she'd make herself a cup and make me a cup as well. And she kept going on and on and on. And so part of me didn't want to sound like I didn't know what I was doing. The other part wanted to be polite. So I would drink the coffee. She would say, "Isn't it wonderful? Don't you taste blah, blah, blah?" I was not getting it. So eventually I thought, wait a minute, if it's possible to acquire tastes for different things, I'm sure if I paid attention to this coffee experience, I would actually understand what gets people so excited about it. And so in terms of just the taste of coffee, that's where that began. But I became more entrenched when a friend of mine started a coffee roasting company. And at the time, her goal was to support farmers who had been through the war in Rwanda and who were trying to set their farms up again. So there was now a cause tied to the coffee drinking experience that opened my eyes to the fact that, hey, behind every cup, there's actually a story. Right. There are people, in the background who are making this happen. And the story of coffee became very engaging to me, and I would say that's what captivated me the most about coffee. In addition to its taste, just the fact that there is a story. Nigeria has a story, and I'm sure we'll get there today in our conversation.
So it's two things. One thing we've learned about Nigeria as a nation is we're an aspirational people. So you might not know something, but you can see somebody who you look up to doing it, and suddenly you want to do it as well. So what we decided to do was to start with a segment of the market that some of them know about these brewing methods. Some of them have experienced these things before. So when they see it, because it's not very common to see these things in Nigeria, when they see it, they'll go there. They will want to have that sort of refined experience. So they suddenly appear on our Instagram or in our marketing communications, and the rest of the country and the rest of the people who aspire to be them see them there, and they're like, that's the place to go. So suddenly they're showing up, they are learning about alternative methods of brewing, alternative things about coffee that they didn't even know. And now suddenly it becomes the hip thing, it becomes the trendy thing to do, and suddenly you have some converts.
According to statistics from the National Coffee Association, 21% have never heard of a cold coffee brew. 46% have heard, but have never tried it. 14% have drunk cold brew coffee, but do not drink it again. 15% still drink cold brew coffee occasionally, while 5% drink it gradually.
What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor?
Have you tried a cup of cold brew coffee before?
No. Bad taste.
I like my coffee hot. If I'm taking anything cold, it has to be soda, juice, or water. I like my coffee and tea hot.
Cold coffee is a no for me because I feel that it won't go well with my well-being, like my tummy. I prefer hot coffee because anytime I hear the word coffee, it just gives me a warm and hot feeling. So I love hot coffee.
Coffee consumer behavior forms a huge chunk of the world's coffee culture. A Nigerian artist drinks coffee to get inspiration for his spectacular artworks.
I actually started my mural business, doing my first mural in a coffee shop. Yeah, so people have a lot of conversations around coffee. So basically, I was just trying to tell the story that coffee helps to... most great businesses actually start over a cup of coffee. So basically, I'm just trying to show their relationship that coffee brings people together. So basically, that's what I did. So I'm just expressing art. I'm basically showing my love for coffee by drawing a coffee cup. My name is Martin Awinaga. I just love the flavor. It relaxes me. If I found out that if you mix coffee with honey, it tastes like chocolate. So, once in a while I indulge exploration, basically. I drink coffee so that I can do the art. So, yeah. Yeah, coffee.
What's your flavor? Tell me what.
Every coffee story is different. This is the Nigerian Coffee Story, brought to you by Africa Business Radio. But hey, hold on. Let's take this all back again to the beginning. Before the coffee bean was a coffee bean, what exactly was it? In the next episode of the Nigerian coffee industry story, we will take you back to the adventure of the coffee bean.